On a quiet night, a father of two was driving home after work, thinking only of reading a bedtime story to his daughter. Minutes later, he was on the ground, begging for breath, surrounded by officers who saw him not as a man, but as a threat. That traffic stop should have ended with a warning. Instead, it ended with tragedy, and a family's life shattered forever. This story isn't just about Marcus Williams. It's about how systemic brutality continues to destroy lives across America. Before we dive into this powerful story, I need your support. Please take a moment to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss these important stories. And don't forget to leave a comment. Your voice matters in keeping these stories alive. It was late, 10:43 p.m., to be exact, when Marcus Williams merged onto Maple Avenue, a road he had driven hundreds of times before. He had just finished a grueling 12-hour shift as a hospital technician, his uniform still faintly smelling of antiseptic. Marcus was tired, but his heart was light. His son, Jordan, had scored his first basket in a school game that afternoon. His daughter, Kayla, had begged him to read The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe before bed. He promised her he'd be home in time. The night air was calm. His playlist, old R&B classics, played softly in the background. He drummed his fingers on the steering wheel, eyes fixed on the road, already imagining his kids racing to hug him at the door. But then, red and blue lights flooded his rearview mirror. Marcus's chest tightened. Not because he'd done anything wrong, but because of what he knew could happen when those lights flashed for someone who looked like him. The cruiser pulled behind him, spotlight blinding his mirror. Marcus signaled, eased onto the shoulder, and rolled down his window. He rehearsed the ritual in his head. Hands on the wheel. Voice calm. No sudden moves. The officer approached. Officer Daniel Huxley, mid-40s, buzz cut, heavy build. His boots crunched against gravel as he leaned into the window. "You know why I pulled you over?" Marcus shook his head. "No, officer. You failed to signal when you changed lanes." Marcus's brow furrowed. "I did, sir. Maybe the bulb." "License and registration." Marcus handed them over without hesitation. His father's words echoed in his head. "Son, respect won't always protect you, but it gives you the best chance." Huxley studied the documents a little too long, his flashlight darting around the car, as if searching for something out of place. Instead of returning to his patrol car, Huxley tilted his head. "Step out of the vehicle." Marcus blinked. "Sir, can I ask why?" "Don't question me. Step out." Marcus inhaled deeply, glanced at his phone on the passenger seat, and thought of calling Angela, his wife. But he didn't want to make it worse. He opened the door slowly, stepping into the cool night air. Huxley positioned him at the hood. "You been drinking tonight?" "No, sir. I just finished work. I'm heading home." "You smell nervous." Marcus swallowed hard. "I'm tired, sir. That's all." By then, another cruiser pulled up. Two more officers emerged, their radios crackling. Marcus's pulse quickened. The dashcam footage, later released in court, showed how fast things turned. One officer grabbed Marcus's wrist. Marcus instinctively pulled back, startled. "He's resisting." That phrase lit the fuse. Within seconds, Marcus was shoved against the hood. A baton pressed into his side. He struggled to breathe. "I'm not resisting." Marcus's voice cracked, echoing into the night. "Please. I work at the hospital. I'm just trying to get home." His words were drowned by commands barked from every direction. "Hands behind your back. Stop moving. Down on the ground." A neighbor, awakened by the noise, peered through the blinds and quickly pulled out a phone to record. The shaky video captured Marcus's pleas. "I can't breathe. I can't breathe." But the officers kept pressing. Knees dug into his back. A taser discharged. The recording ended with silence. When Angela's phone rang, she was half asleep on the couch. She answered groggily. "Mrs. Williams." The voice was clinical, detached. "This is Mercy General Hospital. Your husband has been admitted after a cardiac arrest." Angela shot upright. "Cardiac arrest? What happened?" The voice hesitated. "He was in police custody." By the time she arrived at the ER, Marcus was gone. She was ushered into a cold consultation room where a doctor explained that he went into distress after resisting arrest. Angela shook her head violently. "No. No, Marcus doesn't resist. He doesn't fight. He works here. He saves lives here." But nothing she said could rewind time. The police department issued a statement within hours. During a routine traffic stop, the suspect became aggressive and combative. Officers responded appropriately. Unfortunately, the suspect later experienced a medical emergency. The words were sterile, dehumanizing. They erased Marcus's name, his life, his family, reducing him to the suspect. But when the neighbor's video leaked online, the story shifted. The world saw Marcus pinned, begging for breath. Protests erupted. Signs read, "Justice for Marcus." Chants filled city streets. "Say his name, Marcus Williams." Angela tried to shield her children. But how do you explain to a 9-year-old and a 6-year-old that Daddy's not coming home? Jordan asked, "Mom, did Daddy do something bad?" "No, baby," Angela whispered, tears streaming down her face. "Daddy didn't do anything wrong." Kayla clutched Marcus's hospital badge every night, refusing to let go. "I'm holding it so he won't forget us in heaven," she told her mom. Their home, once filled with laughter, now echoed with silence. The community rallied. Vigils were held on Maple Avenue where Marcus was stopped. Candles lined the sidewalk. Flowers rested on the hood of a car to symbolize the last place Marcus stood alive. Local pastors spoke of systemic brutality. Civil rights leaders demanded accountability. College students marched with homemade banners. Angela, though broken, stood before crowds and said, "My husband wasn't perfect, but he was good. He was kind. And he didn't deserve to die for a traffic stop." Months later, the trial began. Angela sat in the front row every day, clutching a notebook filled with Marcus's favorite quotes. The defense argued the officers acted out of fear for safety. They portrayed Marcus, a 5 feet 9 inches hospital worker, as a threat to 3 armed, trained officers. But the dashcam and bystander footage told a different story. The jury saw Marcus complying, begging, suffocating. Still, the courtroom became a battlefield, not just for Marcus's justice, but for the nation's conscience. Marcus's name joined a growing list, etched onto murals, shouted in protests, written on placards. His story became part of a larger movement, demanding not just justice for one man, but change in a system where minor infractions too often turn fatal. Angela still visits his grave every Sunday. She brings the children, who kneel and whisper updates to the father they'll never hug again. Each time she leaves, she whispers, "Your story isn't over, Marcus. It will never be over." Marcus Williams's story reminds us that systemic brutality doesn't just take lives. It devastates families, shatters communities, and corrodes trust in the very institutions meant to protect us. And so, we tell these stories, not just to remember, but to push for change. If you found this story powerful, please like, comment, and subscribe. Share it, so Marcus's name is never forgotten, and so his tragedy can become part of the fight for justice. Marcus Williams should have made it home that night, but instead, his life was stolen. If his story moved you, please like, comment, and subscribe, and don't forget to hit the notification bell. Together, we keep his memory alive and demand the justice he never received. A simple traffic stop ended with a father's life stolen, a wife's heart broken, and 2 children forced to grow up without their dad. Marcus Williams's story is more than tragedy. It's a mirror reflecting the painful truth about systemic brutality in America. We cannot change what happened to Marcus, but by telling his story, we can honor his life and push for change so no family has to endure this again. If this story moved you, please take a moment to support this channel. Like the video, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss the stories that matter.